Good morning, wildlife explorers, and welcome aboard the Wild Asia Monorail. My name is Matthew. I'll be your driver and tour guide. For your own safety and the safety of others, please remain seated at all times, with all body parts inside the train and off the rails, and refrain from eating, drinking, smoking, or vaping. No water is permitted. In the unlikely event of an emergency, there's an intercom button on the left side of your door. Ready to take a ride on the wild side? That was sweet. Here at the headquarters of the Wildlife Conservation Society, we're working hard to save wildlife in wild places around the world. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of Asia, with stops in China, India, Cambodia, Nepal, and Tibet, all without ever leaving the beautiful Bronx. We've just traveled 7,000 miles to the wilds of Asia. Little guys with the white bellies are black buck antelope, smallest antelope species in Asia, fully grown, 2.5 feet at the shoulder. Males have horns, females do not. The little spotted deer are called axis deer. Axis deer keep their spots their entire adult lives. We've exhibited axis deer since 1899. The large honey-colored deer are called babirusa. The word babirusa means 12 times in the Hindi language, as males will have 12 to 14 points on their antlers. And the large whitish deer, top of the hill, are the Bactrian deer, newest members of our monorail family. They are relative to the red deer of Central Asia, and were highlighted on season 6 of the zoo. This hut tells an important conservation story.
Farmers in Indonesia live closely with wild animals, like elephants, which we will see shortly. WCS field staff work with local leaders and farmers in Indonesia to come up with the crop protection unit. This unit created many different ways for farming to continue in close proximity of wild animals. One strategy was to soak ropes in chili powder and place them around the crops. Elephants do not like chili and leave the farms alone, allowing the farmer and the animals to share the habitat peacefully.
We all know that an animal that's extinct is no longer with us, like the dinosaur and the dodo bird. The animals in our next exhibit were completely extinct in nature and could only be found in zoos. We're talking about the Mongolian wild horse, or Przewalski's horse. We have 12 horses on display today, including a 5-week-old, so don't stop looking after you see the first 3. While there are genetic differences between wild horses and domestic horses, there are physical differences as well. They're shorter and stockier in build. They have an erect mane that's lacking the forelock, the piece of mane that falls between the eyes of a domestic horse. They're rocking the mohawk. They were born genetically awesome. The Bronx Zoo received our first herd in 1902, and we're happy to report that Mongolian wild horses are being successfully reintroduced into the wilds of Mongolia and southern China from both North American and Asian zoos. We're now going to hear from Jonathan Slack, our Asian expert.
Jonathan Slack, I'm the Russia and Northeast Asian coordinator for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place in nature. My job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. Przewalski's horse was extinct in the wild in the 1960s. On a recent trip to Kazakhstan, I thought about the ongoing and successful efforts in that country to bring its horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories. Watch the impossible become possible and to see hope restored. That's what's happening today with Przewalski's horse.
As you can see, we give our animals lots of room to roam, as we're still in the Mongolian wild horse exhibit. But I'll be able to pinpoint most of the animals for you today, even if they're not necessarily in plain sight. It's not difficult to do if you'd like to try. Just put yourself in their hooves and figure out where you would go for a shady spot to rest or a little grazing time. When we reach the top of this hill, we'll be on the lookout for an endangered species known as the Gaur. That's G-A-U-R. Excellent Scrabble word. And it looks like they're going to be on the far side of the meadow. So while we're waiting, here's a word from their keeper, Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave, a wild animal keeper here in Wild Asia. When the Bronx Zoo received 2 female and 1 male Gaur from the San Diego Zoo, it took a couple of introductions before all the animals were fighting. But after a little bit of time, the 3 new animals fully integrated into the herd, and we have the family that you see today. A family group of Gaur can consist of up to 40 individuals, and is typically led by an older adult female called the matriarch. Since the 2 females and 1 male have been added to this family, there have been a number of offspring. This is important because Gaur are considered to be a vulnerable species, so it's vital to maintain a healthy growing herd here at the zoo.
오, 얘들
The
뭐야?
Gaur are the world's largest wild cattle. Males stand 6 feet in
물소
shoulder,
아니야, 물소?
10 feet long, and weigh 2,000 pounds. With their incredible size and horns, a Gaur can take on anything, even a tiger. What threatens these beautiful creatures is lack of an Asian habitat and diseases they catch from domestic cattle. If the horns point straight up, it's a male. If they curve in at the top, it's a female. Most of the herd is female. Our matriarch's name is Trixie. And if you're lucky enough to spot the 2 little golden brown ones, they're our newest baby Gaur. They're 2 months old.
어? 도망했어? 그래?
It's easy to forget sometimes that the Bronx Zoo sits in the heart of an urban setting. But shortly behind us, you're going to hear the roar from the concrete jungle known as the Bronx River Parkway. The large wood fence in front of you obstructing your view is put there to keep back that traffic noise and help our animals feel more at home and calm. This is especially important since in the next exhibit, we're on the lookout for a tiger. Once again, please remain seated with all body parts inside the train. Tiger stripes provide excellent camouflage, and sometimes we have difficulty spotting our tiger. This is Josie. He's a 350-pound Siberian or Amur tiger. In the wild, tiger is wild cake and deer, and cake he will, killing 40 pounds of meat in one setting,
저기
and
있네.
then not eating again for 3
저기
days.
앞에.
That's the equivalent of 160 hamburgers to you and I. If you ate 160 hamburgers, you wouldn't eat for 3 days either. Tiger stripes are like fingerprints. No 2 are alike. That's how we tell our tigers apart. And they're solitary creatures and prefer to live alone. That's why you'll only see 1 at a time on display here at the Wild Asia monorail. We don't want them fighting over territory. With only 3,000 tigers left in the wild, and only 1,000 of them being breeding females, we're working with several organizations to increase this number. You can see more tigers by visiting Tiger Mountain, a short shuttle ride from the monorail.
여기 있다, 여기 있다.
Please remain seated. Standing along the rail is forbidden. It's the back of our Gaur exhibit. Top of the hill to the left, you get a closer look at some Gaur. Hello, ladies. And we're now coming up on the back of our first meadow, where we're greeted once again by India's national bird, the Balkan fowl. You know, only the males are called peacocks. Females are called peahens. They get together and make baby pea chicks. The males are the ones with those impressive back feathers. They crop up with their tail feathers during the mating season. Once they've mated, they shed those feathers. That's what the white things all over the ground are. Now you can only tell a male from a female, as the males have blue heads and the females have green. They have free roam in the Bronx Zoo and the Bronx. You'll see them everywhere today, not just here in Asia. As we round the bend, we're on the lookout for some pigs. Special pigs called babirusa. The word babirusa means pig deer in the Malay language, because the natives thought their tusks resembled deer antlers. We're looking for a pig whose tusks erupt through the snout and back towards its eyes. Asia's version of Pumbaa. Coming into a bamboo thicket, we have two males on display today, Kenneth and Linus. They blend in very well with their environment. You gotta look sharp. They hail from the island of Sulawesi and are highly endangered. If you didn't see the babirusa, have no fear. You can't miss our next lovely lady, as we're going to visit with Patty, our Asian elephant.
어디 있어?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very important. Patty is going to insist on coming over to the train to say hello to me. You are going to remain seated and quiet. Seated and quiet. Take all the pictures you want, as long as you remain seated and quiet. If you remain seated and quiet, you're going to get the best look of an elephant anyone can get safely. If you do not remain seated and quiet, she's going to freak out, run to the back, and the next 7 tours won't see an elephant, and they'll all blame me. So enjoy the view, but please remain seated and quiet. This lovely lady is Patty. The first thing you'll notice about an elephant is her size. She weighs approximately 10,000 pounds. She eats fruits, vegetables, 200 pounds of hay, and 60 gallons of water each day. Check out those eyelashes. The elephant's trunk is an incredible tool with over 40,000 muscles in it. That's more than the entire human body. It's got a finger like appendage at the end. With it, she can pick up an egg without breaking it, or tear down a small tree with great force. And if you saw the Animal Planet show, The Zoo, you know that twice a week she receives special baths and pedicures. As we say goodbye to Patty, we're going to say hello to my favorite lady at the zoo. This is Penny, our Indian rhino. As soon as you cross the road, look to the mud wallow to the right, and sitting up for us is Benny, our great one-horned Indian rhino. When a rhino curls its lower lip like that, that's a smile. Many people describe a rhino's skin as armor-plated. It's actually very thin with lots of folds, and needs protection from insect bites and the sun. To do this, they'll sit in the mud wallow, cover themselves with mud, and this acts as a natural sunscreen and insect repellent. The white stuff on Penny's face and ears is zinc oxide, as she's very susceptible to the sun. After all, she's a native New Yorker, born right here at the Bronx Zoo in 1986. She was our first with lessons. Past the big tree, there's an opening in the foliage. You'll get a better look at her, albeit in the backside. With less than 2,000 rhinos remaining in the wilds of India and Nepal, we're very fortunate to care for 6 of these endangered creatures. Caring for rhinos is one thing, breeding is quite another. We're the luckiest zoo in the USA. We've had 16 rhino births here at the Bronx Zoo. Penny was our first, 1986. Our latest is Patrick, 2021. He was on display just the other day with his mother Priya. She got to come back and visit us more often, as we rotate our animals in and out on a daily basis. Second half of the exhibit, you'll see a fallen log. To the right of that fallen log is the original mud wallow, put here in 1977 when the monorail first opened. More than 20 rhinos have contributed to the size and shape of that wallow. When it warms up more this afternoon, that's where Penny will spend most of her day. Although rhinos can achieve speeds close to 40 miles per hour, they're highly endangered for their horn, which in some cultures is said to have medicinal purposes. As we drop down into the valley, we get extremely close to fences and trees. So sit back, keep all body parts, camera parts, anything you ever want to see again, inside the train. Asia is a continent with the largest number of deer species, as well as deer diversity, as we'll see in this next and largest exhibit of the Wild Age monorail. Of course, the more room you give animals to roam, the harder you have to look for them. As we enter the clearing, you'll see two circular fences inside the exhibit. As we come around the bend, look to the back of the circular fences in the shade, and that's where we're most likely to find our first set of deer. Or not. Come around the bend, top of the next hill, you're going to get an excellent view.
You see something? I didn't. Lucky you. I know. We play around just like we did.
Of our North American oak trees. It would cost millions of dollars to recreate an Asian forest. But since most of our deer were born here in the US of A, they don't know the difference between an oak tree and an Asian tree. A leaf's a leaf. They provide an excellent source of food and shade. For the record, we slowed down due to train traffic, not because I wanted you to get a great look at the trees. Center of the exhibit, you'll see a dried up stream. Follow that stream all the way up the hill to the back fence line. And all the way at the top of this hill, in the shade, you're going to see some very large chocolate-colored deer. Those are the sandbar deer, largest deer in southern Asia. They stand 5.5 feet at the shoulder and can weigh up to 650 pounds. The 10 animals coming up to the right are the nilgai antelope, the largest antelope in Asia. The word nilgai means blue bull in the Hindi language, as males will have a blue-gray coat upon maturity. These are all females with beautiful diamond markings under their eyes. Better look at the sandbar deer straight back.
Oh yeah.
They blend in really well. You gotta look sharp. We're now on the lookout for China's tufted deer. These little elusive deer get their name from a tuft of hair on their head, where their antlers should be. Fully grown, less than 40 pounds, they can be very difficult to spot if they're not moving. They're also one of the animals on the monorail that decides when they come out and when they don't. And on a beautiful day like this, they usually don't. They like the cold weather, come back in October. Usually right after saying that, we'll see 2 or 3 standing right in front of me. I always make sure I mention them at least. They're extremely rare in zoos outside China. We're lucky to have them.
Another type of
Round the bend, peek through the trees, you'll see Patty again. Can't hide an elephant. Right there. We're now crossing back over the Bronx River. At over 23 miles long, this freshwater river is home to fish, ducks, turtles, geese, and migrating birds. WCS realizes how important it is to maintain the Bronx River and Greenway, both as a healthy environment for wildlife and for Bronx residents to enjoy. Once we've successfully crossed the river for the second time, we're in the Rocky Himalayas, the perfect environment for mountain goats. Get your cameras ready, he's posing for you. Here on the boulder is the Markhor, the national animal of Pakistan. Largest member of the goat family, most identifiable by the male's impressive beard and spiral horns that can reach up to 5 feet in length. The word Markhor means snake eater in Persian. Legend has it he ate a snake, and that's how it escaped. They're incredible athletes. They can leap up to 6 feet in the air without a running start, and have been known to climb trees for food. Then study the center rock and the hillside. We're looking for baby Markhor. Baby goats are called kids. They're 5 weeks old. We have 8 kids on exhibit. There's one right there in the center of the rock.
There's a baby up there.
You never know where those kids will be.
Look, Casey. There's two of them. There's another one over there.
Oh, there's a real little one up there, Diane.
Oh my gosh.
More
That's
baby
tiny.
goats coming up here on the hillside.
More babies. They like their babies.
You.
Now we're going to pass a Y-shaped tree. So close to the train you can touch it. But please don't. Look into the tree behind it, just below eye level. And here you'll find our red panda, Linus.
여기
Here's
있다.
the Y-shaped tree. There's Linus. The word panda means bamboo eater. That's how he gets his name. He's actually a relative of skunks, raccoons, and weasels. In Nepal, his name is Hunho, which means firefox. And if you saw the movie Kung Fu Panda, Master Shifu was a red panda. The red panda was known to the Western world years before the black and white panda. The only thing they have in common is an insatiable appetite for bamboo. Check out the stump over here. The baby's
yeah.
about to jump up there with
얘 뭐야 얘?
If she lets him. You can see more red pandas by visiting the Himalayan highlands a short walk from the monorail. While there, be sure to visit our snow leopards. As we wind our way down the hill, our tour is sadly coming to an end. But I'd like to tell you a little bit more about us. The Wildlife Conservation Society manages 5 parks in the New York City area. The Bronx Zoo, Central Park Zoo, Queens Zoo, Prospect Park Zoo, and the New York Aquarium on Coney Island. We also manage over 300 scientists, and he made it 60
저 위에
countries
있네.
throughout the world.
나무
We're
위에.
working hard to save wildlife in wild places. You being here today helps us to do just that. And for that, we thank you. We're going to hear from one more scientist. Her name is Michelle. She's in charge of the first meadow we came to, which is now directly across the river from us.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm part of the Wild Asia Keeper team. We call this area Kanha Meadow, where we care for about 40 Barasinga deer, 15 axis deer, 10 black buck, and a pair of muntjac. We start our day by checking on all the animals, making sure they are healthy, behaving normally, and safe. Sometimes, fawns and calves are born overnight. Newborns are given a neonatal exam, which includes weighing, vaccination, and tagging for identification purposes. While the animals are in the meadow, we prepare their nighttime holding areas so that they have a safe and clean place to spend the night.
We're going to make a brief stop to reset the computer and allow the train in front of us to depart. Please remain seated. This is not our final destination, and we'll only be here for a short while.